Welcome everyone to the Reseller Roundtable. This is Brian, Texas Treasures. Tonight we have Mike, Flipping Goodies, Alton, Addicted to Hustle, and Scott, Triple D, Dumpster Diver Dad. And tonight's topic, everybody doing all right tonight?
Oh yeah, hanging out.
I am in hell tonight, just so you know.
He said, well, you want to share, Mike, since you think we can help you with?
Wait, I'll show you the hell I'm in.
All right, so we got to describe this for the listeners.
This is what I consider to be hell.
Super Bowl champion St. Louis Rams t-shirt.
But I bought a storage lock and I had a whole bunch of junk in it, which is clothing. So I got to go through it and sell it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So This is my hell tonight. I got like 10 of them to list.
There you go. Well, that's a good hell to have inventory to list that will sell.
Not this.
He said no. I'll pass.
Now this one's actually pretty decent. Check this one out. This one I actually like this one. See this? Can you see this, dude?
He's holding up a hoodie.
You see the emblem on his little dragon?
It's a blue fire dragon.
Yeah. Okay, so it's pretty nice. It's by Top Heavy. Is that a good name, Brian? Do you know?
I've never come across that. I'm not sure, but we could find out.
We could do that. We could do a search result at the end.
Yeah, I'll check. I'll check into it when I have some free time.
Has a really nice graphic on the back.
Yeah,
nice. It's got a back hit too. Nice.
Yeah, so you got the front and back. You know.
Yeah, I'll do some comp search here in a minute. All right. Well, Mike's going through hell with all these cool clothing that he has to list, and all of our clothing.
I want to show more because I want you to know what I'm doing.
Mike's going to show us more of his personal hell.
New tag, so he's got a tag on it, so I can say new attack.
It's got a Bruce Lee t-shirt.
Lee,
Fear is for others.
It's a good statement.
I like it.
Yeah, look.
That's in that black and white format too.
Can you see that? But it's by
Bruce Lee. Official Bruce Lee on the company. Nice.
Then I won't bore you with that, but I got a couple of good ones I'll show you. Yeah, I think this is good.
Poor Mike. I feel so bad for him.
He's got inventory to list. All this good stuff. I mean,
a Bon Jovi concert
t-shirt.
Yeah.
So got the
tour dates.
Yeah. That'll sell for sure.
That's a pretty shirt though. It's got a good hit on it.
And these are all new with tags, by the way. If you're listening to the podcast, these are new with tag items. Poor Mike.
Yeah.
Wait, I had a really good one. What the heck did I do with it?
He said, "Wait, these weren't even good. These are
the average."
Mike is living so fat on the farm right now that this is his personal hell.
Okay, look at this. Who has this shirt? That's what I want to know. Who has that one?
Duran. Oh, my wife loves that band.
And it has
it's got the band on the front.
Bands.
2004. What size is that?
This is it's by Gildan.
Okay, that's good.
Extra large.
And what year? 84?
This is 2004.
2004, okay.
So what Gildan did is like a lot of times if you see concert t-shirts on a Gildan tag, those aren't official. He's got Motley Crue t-shirt also.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be careful about listing that on eBay. But
Motley Crue?
Well, no, the Gildan Duran because it doesn't have the official copyright on the front part of that t-shirt. I bet it doesn't, because Gildan is like a shirt that you just buy blank and then they'll print on those.
So probably what it was is if they did that at the company, the actual concert bought a bunch of those shirts and had them printed.
Yeah, or some vendors outside of the concert.
I shouldn't list this one?
Well, I would be worried about a Vero, because a Gildan tag.
I'm easy going. That will go right in the trash. It's one less headache I have tonight.
You sell on Facebook Marketplace. You can sell that on other places.
You sell on Poshmark.
Yeah, he was just saying with eBay, with the possibility of Vero.
The single
tag.
Pontiac Trans Am.
Oh, I like that shirt. I like that with the fire with that bird.
I think that would look good on you, Mike. You look like a
I had a Trans Am. I had a 78 Trans Am.
How do we know it?
Blue with the blue Firebird on top, T-tops, everything.
Nice.
But this wouldn't fit me, so I think it's a large. So anyway,
all right.
Well,
heavy way to start off the show.
Copyright is no good. Got you. Learn something new.
And
but Gildan is worth doing. So like if you posted it on Facebook or anything else as like a personal sale, a lot of people sell Gildan with band tees elsewhere, but Brian just wants you to be sure that hey, with eBay, the possibility of Vero.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, it just could be like Duran Duran in that case. You know, they could do a sweep of all of eBay and any T-shirts that aren't on their copyrighted shirts. You know, they could get you with a Vero, which account health is really important on eBay.
Absolutely.
And I sold a pair of Nikes today.
Man, you're just in all kinds of hell today, aren't you? Oh my goodness.
Scott's personal health, selling all different types of clothing and shoes, and it's all of his other stuff. Well, and it's kind of interesting. We'll get to tonight's topic, but real quick, just kind of segueing off of that, I do think if you sell things that's outside of what you normally sell, it does kind of feel like hell, because either you're not set up for it, or or you got to spend time researching, or there's just some type of hassle. Whereas if you're selling the same things over and over, you get a routine, you get a habit, you don't have to look things up as much. So that is one of the advantages of niching down, I would say. But not that Mike or any of us isn't capable of listing whatever. We are, but it just becomes a little more difficult. But anyway, tonight's topic, it's not your personal hell. Tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about fraudulent buyers on eBay and other platforms, and how should you address that? It could be, I think, Alton, and correct me if I'm wrong, like this started from a daily refinement video this week.
Yeah. It just brought a little, like, how when you're listening to topics, whether, personal growth, or we're all trying to grow our businesses. And, it was a comment that was made that really it made me question, not whether, Chris Daily Refinement is right or wrong. I mean, we all do our own thing that's right for us and our platform. But I believe he got returned a rock for an item that he sold. And then he pretty much said it wasn't worth the time to go after the person because he could make more money listing than that time. And at one point, it made me just think, and as a group, we were talking about the consistency of doing the right thing as a seller, right? Well, we should be the same way with adamant about getting good buyers. We want them to be following the policies and not trying to abuse the system. So if we're going to be doing our part, we need them to be, held accountable as buyers, and if it takes 5 minutes, 10 minutes to report it, to me, it's worth it because it's more about principle than money, and because if I did something wrong, I'm going to own up to it. Oh, my mistake. I didn't realize I didn't have that, or I didn't put that in the description. We'll work it out for the buyer. It always seems to benefit the buyer, and never that the buyer gets that slap on the wrist per se. And this is our way of kind of not necessarily fighting back, but just the due diligence of having good buyers versus just bad buyers, which is a very small percentage though. Like, I want to make sure that's clear. It's a very small percentage of what we get that are returns, or even the fraudulent return or anything like that. So it was just kind of a fun little thing to see what everybody's ideas and their thought processes and how they would handle it.
I did see the video, and I think he should have reported it. I think that he should have went in, and for the betterment of all the eBay sellers, go in and report that buyer, because next he might buy from Brian, or might buy from Mike or me or you, Alton.
Right.
And I think eBay needs to get rid of those people. And I think with we all know that we're in business, and we all know that there's scammers out there, and people will switch one item for another, especially with electronics and stuff like that. I've had Wii's that were switched and stuff like that, for a good one for a broken one. And it was clearly, not mine. You can tell by the markings and stuff like that. And I understand Chris's Daily Refinement's logic in this, I guess you would say, because you could go in and list 10 more items as it were to, make up for that couple bucks that you lost. But not everybody's selling, $5, $10, $15 items and getting rocks. So I understand that everybody's business is everybody's business, but we are a community of eBay resellers, or resellers on whatever platform. And I would hope that my fellow resellers would report that person.
Yeah, and and I'll be honest, like I didn't actually watch that video. I did see the title, and there's a couple things that come to mind. Number one, I mean, I know Chris personally, and I know his YouTube channel has grown rather large, and that's becoming a big part of his income stream. So I think number one, it's like a shock value kind of video he probably made. Like I saw the thumbnail of like The Rock, and we know a lot of like these topics. Most of the reseller community gets really fired up about, even though it's very rare, and we really shouldn't spend that much time thinking about it. So I think number one, he was probably doing it to get a lot of views on his YouTube video. And then number two, I do understand the concept of like in I'm in his group with Chris and Tech and Sports, and one of our mantras is list more, because that's how you make more money. And the whole group is based on becoming as efficient as possible. But with all that being said, here's the thing. It doesn't take but 15 to 30 seconds to report the buyer. Like when you're doing that return, before you issue the refund, there's a report the buyer button. So all you have to do is click on that, write a short couple of sentences. In this case, I would take a picture of the rock in the box, and I would, as a top-rated seller with free returns, which I know he is, I would deduct 50% in all of the shipping, which he can, and eBay would be, notified that they have a possibly fraudulent buyer, just like Scott was saying. So this idea that you could list 10 or 15 items in the time it takes to report the buyer is actually not true. It probably takes you 30 seconds to a minute max to do that. And going back to my last point, I think that was more of YouTube content probably than anything else. But the general idea of listing more is the most important thing. But I do think you should report the buyers. And I actually made a video about this on my YouTube channel, Texas Treasures. It's called How to Report False INADs. And I walk you through that process. It's really easy. And I think, like what Alton was saying, if everybody reports these, then these scam buyers aren't able to get away with it, and there will be less fraudulent returns.
Right. It's kind of like more of like I say, that due diligence, right? Like a cycle. The more of them you get out there, the less chances that they come across you, because there's less and less and less. Now, granted, I know there's new accounts, there's all kinds of ways around it, but if we're doing nothing, they're going to do the same thing on that same account all the time. And I don't know. I'm a man of my word when it comes to that. And I'd rather, if I'm going to give out something with my name and my word, like, hey, here's the best of me, I want the buyer to be a good buyer. Don't try to rip me off for being honest, But just some people just don't care. They don't have the integrity that the guys on this panel do to, for one, talk about even a minuscule subject. Like, I know this is a nothing subject for 99% of the time, but what about the 1%, that do get that fraudulent return? But I mean, even out of thousands of resellers who are part of the community, I mean, think about 1%. It might not happen to you, it might not happen to us, but 1% is still, that's a lot over a group. And if we can grow together as a group, which is what we're intending to do, is help each other, reporting that buyer is the best way to do it, is to prevent it from happening, cascading it down, that domino effect. So, and I don't know if Mike has that problem dealing with his platform. So it'd be kind of interesting to see, do you have any of that going on, Mike?
No, like I told you guys, my returns are minimal. I do sell a lot of electronics, which does lead to returns, but I fully test them before they leave here. I started making videos on them a while back. This way I could prove to eBay that, look, this was a working unit when it was left here. What happened to it in transit or whatever they did to it is what caused the issue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So those videos are important to have. And even before, and I'm not thrilled with eBay's new thing, but I used to be able to post them right from YouTube to your listing and show the item in the working condition. That was never an issue. So I mean, my return rate is, I get returns. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. Everybody gets returns. If you don't get returns, you're not selling anything.
Right.
Nobody that receives an item is going to, not everybody's going to be happy with that item they received. Either they feel like they overpaid or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the incident might be. And you're going to take those returns. Now, as far as like across the platforms, Walmart over a year and a half now, the last time I looked, I had 19 returns, which, if you think about it, really not that bad for a year and a half of selling. And I saw a lot of things on there. And most of them are don't need anymore, stuff like that, ordered in error.
Right.
Facebook, I've had one return. Well, it wasn't even a return, it was a credit card dispute. So that cost me $20, just like it does on eBay. And I even messaged the buyer and I said, well, you didn't even give me a chance to, I've sold hundreds. It was like these little vacuum tubes I sell.
Right.
And I've sold hundreds of them. And I've never had an issue because I show it on the meter tested. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't understand how this is bad, And then when I messaged him, I said, well, why'd you put a credit card dispute in? Why'd you just message me? I would have took it back. I didn't put a credit card dispute in, he says. So I messaged Facebook, and then they pulled that off my account. So I think it's easy on YouTube to watch a lot of the providers talk about returns because I think it helps in their views.
I think that's a very good statement. I think it's like Brian and you both say it's probably more view related and driven,
right?
Because it's a topic that no one wants to talk about. They know it happens very little. It's kind of like the reverse. You should be talking about the good stuff, but I think addressing the bad stuff and how to properly handle it when it happens, like the same way with you. You reached out to the buyer. Why didn't you do it this way? And it's almost an education at that point to the buyer. If you handled it the right way, Mike, like you could be like, hey, did you know next time you could just ask me first and work with me directly?
Right.
Who knows? Maybe that one bulb, for whatever reason, it just went bad. Like after testing it, give me a chance to make it right before you do, whether it's a item not as described or any little thing to cause that backlash on you. I feel like there needs to be a rating system back as buyers as well. And I'm sure there is one. Like you do have one as a buyer on eBay, but I don't know about any buyer rating system on any other platform. I've not seen it. So it's kind of a fun little thing that maybe as these platforms grow, they'll be able to give more insight on good buyers versus bad buyers. But pretty easy topic tonight. Not long at all.
I think eBay charges you like a $25 or $35 fee if they do a credit card dispute.
Yes. $20, yeah.
$20, yeah, it's expensive. So that's even sometimes more expensive than the item.
And realistically,
if you lose the case,
if you lose the case, right? But most people don't go back and fight that, so they gotta.
Well, it's usually as simple as providing tracking. Like I've had several of those, and it's just provide the tracking, then eBay will back you up, and even if you lose the case in that case, they'll take care of that fee.
Yeah,
good deal. Man, that was a short topic.
But it is short.
Nice and sweet. With eBay with stuff like that, calling them and discussing what's going on with this certain instance and explaining to them that either tracking shows it delivered or whatever. And really, I've never had an issue where I couldn't get what I wanted to try and get when I made the phone call out of them. So it's been pretty easy.
Yeah.
Amazon's a little different beast than that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
help as much.
Now I will say,
to piggyback on that, I think that's I think eBay's probably the best platform as far as customer service. You can't get a hold of a customer service rep on any other platform that I'm aware of. And eBay also has eBay for Business on Facebook, where you can reach them through Messenger. Like I did that today on some orders that were shipped out late on February 23rd, and that could possibly affect my top rated seller status. But we were under a winter weather advisory or warning that day. And once again, eBay covers the seller in that situation. And they confirmed that that those late shipments would be corrected before the next evaluation. So I do think eBay is a really good platform as far as working with the sellers, much better than the other platforms that I've been on.
Well, I want to extend on what Brian was just talking about. I agree with what he says, but to lock that down is the people that you speak to on eBay have more control of making the change than the other platform help. Like Amazon, they can only advise and send you to like, go look at this help section, stuff like that. Where eBay, they can go in and actually remove something, change something, or do whatever they have to do. So they have more control.
They have more account control helping you as both a seller and a buyer versus any other platform. I do agree with that because Amazon, sadly, have had more returns on Amazon than eBay. But I will tell you the eBay handling process of all of it, if I had an issue or maybe I didn't understand, like, hey, I'm trying to do this the right way, or I needed to take half of it. The first time I ever had to deduct like the percentage or whatever, I asked for help. I said, look, I need to refund half of it because it's their end as well issue. They helped me with it. I could not deduct. It took me 4 days with Amazon to fix an issue where I made a mistake, but I was trying to make it right for my buyer. I don't know if y'all remember, I sold a whole stack of those PS4 games. It was the exact same game. They bought like 28 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I accidentally grabbed, it was 27. When I had stacked them, I didn't realize I had moved one over in the box to put it on the side. I forgot to pack that one when I shipped it. So I was trying to give them the credit for one. You know, that's hard to do. And it tried to keep refunding all 28. And that was like a $160 order. Like, I was like, y'all got to help me. It's only like X amount per plus shipping. Like, and it took them 4 days to finally get it right. Where eBay, that would have been handled that day. I do know that. So like, there's a few little things that can be worked on there. Whew. All right. Well,
sorry, I'm trying to figure something out. I just got a notification on something. I'm trying to figure out what it's talking about.
That's what you call real-time business going on right here.
Support.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Well, how has everyone's sales been lately? At least on the pre-owned platform. I know it's a little different with some of the things Mike does, but
I think Scott's picked up, but I know, I'll be honest, like my father has decided to kind of slow down on eBay. So like if an item's worth listing, you know, he's going to list it, right? Like that's just having an option to have it listed. But I think going forward, there's a few changes we're going to make. He actually doesn't like it as much as the consistency side of it. You know, he wants the fun side of it. So if we go out on the weekends and he finds a couple pieces, then he'll list it, you know, like, and that's going to be slow sales. But at the same time, if it makes him happy in his retirement, then that's what matters. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do that with him there. But as far as me, I've been focusing more, like I'll list one item or two items in a week now on eBay. Like I don't like, I rarely have the time. I'm pushing out anywhere between, I think last week, I think it was over 100 plus items last week, you know, onto the Whatnot application. And it's not like I'm pushing junk. I'm talking resellable action figures and, you know, giving those deals out there. But I'm also happy that I'm making room on this big shelf up here. Like it's a great way of cycling through inventory. So when it comes to the Whatnot side, I feel like I'm almost starting to catch up with Mike. I'm getting those numbers up there. But I was supposed to have an auction tonight, but I rescheduled it for tomorrow night. So,
well, how about next week we make that the podcast over Whatnot? Since you guys still on there, maybe you can answer some questions that people have.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get some people in here to ask like any question. I mean, I don't really know where we would want to start with that because first off, you got to get approved. You got to apply and get approved, but I think the biggest thing for me is going into it is don't bring your YouTube community into sell trash. I'll put it out there. Like that is the biggest like quarrel I have with the influx of YouTube people Like we have seen it. Scott's been on the platform just before the boom, you know, and we have seen nothing but an influx. I'm talking. I see names on here and I'm like, oh my God. Like I see them on YouTube. And then the people who finally figure out that the addicted to Funko username is me, that is the addicted to hustle on YouTube, they're like, oh my God, it's Alton. I'm like, no, please no. Like, because I didn't want to I wanted to build my following organically by people as quality buyers, not watchers. You know, like the game for YouTube is getting watchers to watch your content.
But to play the devil's advocate, like I don't have a big YouTube channel, so I wouldn't have any success with that. But I could see the allure. Like if you do have a big community and following, and you know if you go on there and you're bringing, you know, thousands of your fans, and like we'll use like Harry Tornado as an example, right? Like he has a giant YouTube channel.
Yeah, he does,
and he sells a little bit, but he uses the power of his fans to get prices that no other reseller would get. So, and I would have to ask myself, if I had that ability to make that much money that easily, would I really stand my high ground? And I don't know, to be honest. I don't have to worry about it, so it's just a hypothetical.
I guess for me, I can understand that internal battle, right? Do you give into the viewers? Like, I get it. Like, trust me, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with making your dollar. I think it's that statement that I've made it very clear with Scott, like when he came on with me and Marcus, don't bring something that you wouldn't list yourself on eBay. Like, if it doesn't meet your criteria, why bring it at all? Like, because at that point, is it worth it to someone else? I feel like when you present it, I'm not going to name names, but there was a live where I saw certain things going, well, that's a very basic level collector piece, like Walmart collector, and they're starting off for $1. And I'm seeing these things go for $15, $20 a piece, and they're worth $7 on eBay. How is that benefiting anybody unless they're buying it just for the sake of buying it from certain content creators? And as great as it is for, I mean, I gotta be careful how I say that, because as great as it is for as a person, as a content creator, to sell that stuff, what quality are you giving your people? You know what I mean? I would rather sell $100 hat for $50 or $60 to a viewer, knowing that it made them happy, than to sell them a $20 hat for $100.
But to play the devil's advocate again, isn't that the whole point of the free market? Like,
no, that's what I said. There's nothing wrong with
buyer to overpay, and in my opinion, like they're either foolish to do that, or they're so fan girlish or boyish that, you know, they're willing to double the price.
Okay, maybe I need to rephrase it. Maybe it's, I'm all for it, but when you have like an influx like what I have seen, and maybe it'll taper off, maybe it won't have as much of an impact, but when you have like an influx of people like this who are resellers, it may help that one content creator, but when you get a lot of those people who are also now going, okay, well, what can I get for nothing? It hurts the other people who are actually selling collectible pieces to the collectors getting the right market. I've seen it go both ways. And it's just one of them things of, somebody might say, oh, Alton, you're full of crap. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it is my opinion. I mean, I don't see the influx being positive at this moment, but it has its positive maybe in the future.
Well, let me ask you a follow-up question, kind of related. So there's an influx. I think that's the key word I'm going to stick on. Do you think the influx, I mean, isn't that what the platform wants? And isn't to grow, and maybe short term it may not be good, but long term, as
right, and that's what I'm saying is, I'm sure the influx of people over time, it'll level out. You know what I mean? Just like a big wave. I'm sure as it crashes in, I think we're into the crash part, you know, and eventually it'll come out and okay, now we're back ready, and it's a more stable market. But I think when you flood as many both buyers and sellers that have flooded in, it becomes very difficult to bring the quality to your buyers. Even though you have more buyers, all of a sudden, I mean, Scott had come in on a party. He's like, yeah, there was like 20 other sellers on the call or something. What some crazy number? I'm like, when I come on, it was a one-on-one interview. Like it was a slower influx of people, and they're doing Zoom calls now instead of phone calls. Like they're
right.
It's less personal. They're trying to get people in to meet the demand of the buyers. They need the sellers to match that, and eventually it'll calm down. But for now, I wasn't very impressed with the influx of the YouTube. I'm grateful for it at the same time, but as a seller, I mean, okay, I guess the best way for me to translate it, Brian, is with you and saying selling shoes or clothing. It's already a saturated market, right? And when, let's say you bring the bread and butter, right? Like the $15 to $20 item that everyone could possibly bid up for and afford from you. Well, now you've got 30 others who are competing to start it at $1 and racing to the bottom again just to hope to make the money. So like it's a game there. And it's everyone's game to play how they want, but we're here to make money, but we're also growing platforms and community there. And I just want people in my community to be happy with what I'm providing them, not because of content that I create. Like if that makes sense. Like there's like a two-edged sword to everything. Those content creators are getting the benefit of having that following. You know what I mean? Like, hey, well, if I want to go live, I know somebody's going to buy it, like it's great for them, but kind of like we talked about with fraudulent claims, how is that helping the community grow outside of you again? Like we got to kind of grow together. So, it's kind of a weird subject, but we can always discuss more of that next week. So
on a positive note, Whatnot's offering a bonus for new sellers. So
yeah, but it has to be referred from a current seller.
It does have to be.
So
on that note.
Well, I'm frustrated with them because I tried to sign up and I get to the verify your phone number and I do that and they never send me the code. And I think the platform definitely has a lot of kinks they need to work out.
And I think that right there, because when you signed up right in that boom. And I know their system, if I'm not mistaken, they were like having so many problems with the sign-on process. Like there was so much influx of people that it did break the system for a while. So like it could just be that they need to go in and reset your account, like delete it and say, okay, we're going to delete it completely and let you start over. That might be where they have to do.
And then from my just very unique perspective, like from my understanding, and even like Tech and Sports, he talked about this in our group. He has access to tons of vintage T-shirts, and that's like the perfect type of platform to sell that on. But he's not selling Tommy Bahama shirts there, or Tommy Hilfiger. He's not selling that stuff. That stuff is being sold on eBay. So, like, I don't have a lot of unique vintage items. Every once in a while, I'll run across a piece. I don't even know if that platform, at least in its current configuration, would even necessarily work for me. But we can talk about that next week, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, because again, it's not for everybody. I mean, it depends on what category you want to be in, or if there's something you wanted to try. Like, I see stuff back there on Mike's, on his shelf, and I'm going, he could have a fun night if he had quality inventory. Like, and everybody's criteria is different. Like if you have it for more than 6 months, it's still a quality item. But do you want to go ahead and maybe liquidate it, kind of like what Walmart does? There's nothing wrong with liquidating your items to turn them over to move on. There's nothing wrong with that. And maybe we can discuss how Whatnot could be a tool, if used properly, to not hurt the market, to get that stale item moving and getting it to the eyes of the people who need to see it. Maybe eBay's the wrong platform for it. Like that might be a good way of looking at it for next week for the Whatnot of how to properly use it.
I still need to message them and get my QR code. I went through the whole process and didn't do the QR code. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh. So yeah, we'll do that. And but yeah, man, this was a nice, short, quick episode.
Very good.
So I think outside of that, the last one we did, it is uploading. It's just pending and processing through Spotify. So It's been there since I left this morning, and I don't know what's going on with it. It's still in processing. It says it's done. Like, it says it's fine. I did the check on it. It doesn't show up in the playlist yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, when it does, it'll be available. And then this is a pretty easy. This won't be an edit tonight, I don't believe, unless we want to edit out the first. I think we're going to leave that because it was great to hear Mike going through his hell. I think that was the great part of the show tonight.
I got 2 hours of it tonight, so maybe.
There you go.
There it is.
Like that.
Well, we will be back Thursday. Maybe a more riveting topic.
Wait, I got my wood sold.
Oh yeah,
I forgot. We forgot.
I'm all prepared.
Ready.
You're all prepared. And I actually have a what I picked up to resell. I have a couple pieces to show. One of them I picked up and purchased. The other, while Mike's pulling that up.
I have it ready to go.
Yeah, whenever you throw it into the system, and I can add it. But yeah, I have a couple pieces I dug out of my storage unit that I'd like to share and show.
And I won what sold too. That's
nice.
This is
there we go.
One of my favorite things to sell.
Nice.
I've sold that before too.
You get them for free.
Well, let's explain it. You want to explain it to the listeners on Spotify, Mike?
Okay, so this is a 13-inch Quasar CRT TV VCR combo with remote. I get them for free. I list them for, like you see here, I had $181 on it, then a 10% off, so $163.
Right.
Free shipping because I'm at the high end of it already. So it's just easier for me to list that free shipping because I can send it out to all my platforms that way. This one cost me $33 a ship.
I like it.
Wasn't
and for the people out there that are listening, like you can't see, like these are the small, like he said, the 13-inch TV with the built-in VCR. When were those made, Mike? Those are
this I want to say is like 90s.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And I think gamers use those. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's who you want them as the gamers, and then also I know the other ones you can sell, like the Mickey Mouse ones and stuff like that too. Those will sell pretty good.
Right, yeah, those will be a couple hundred. But you put in your list in gaming, retro gaming, stuff like that, to draw the gamers in, because they'll buy this up all day. I sell a ton of these all year long.
And those are items you can find at garage sales, estate sales occasionally. Yeah. I think I bought one on Facebook Marketplace like a year and a half ago for like $10.
Go on Nextdoor and put an ad out looking for old TVs. Most people call you and say, just come pick it up. But don't get anything bigger than 19-inch. I like the 13s better, but I do take 19s occasionally. This one's $19.95.
And then
see it there?
That's awesome.
Oh, that's great. I know Mike was talking about free. You could download an app called Freebie Alert, and it'll text you free stuff that is in your area from Facebook and Nextdoor and all that stuff.
Yeah, I actually use Freebie quite a bit.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
It's a great one.
Nice little freebie action, and you can pick up a lot of stuff like that. So
that one's a great one. It's all profit. It's great.
Nice.
State sales, you walk around, they say on them free, just take it. You know, because they don't want to deal with them.
All right, Scott, what about you? What you got?
All right, let's share my screen. Got it here. And I took a page out of Mike's 2 weeks ago. I took this Brother wireless, not wired, I meant printer, and I printed out the pages. So I took a picture of the pages, took a picture of the printer, and sold for $135 minus the 20%. And then it was more than $14 shipping, but shipped it out the door, made about $100 off, $8 from the bins. So
nice.
You have the best bins, I swear.
Oh, you.
Y'all gonna make me
of,
become an everything seller. Y'all need to chill out.
Well, I mean, like we do find some.
You were in everything.
I was, and looking at.
So you know what it's like.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'll share mine.
Sweet.
Not as good as y'all's, but All right, it should be coming up.
There it is.
All right, so I went to the thrift store, and it's interesting when like I'm doing a lot of shoes. That's kind of what I'm trying to focus on right now. And it's funny at like thrift stores, you'll find Nike beaters marked way up, like sneakers. Speaking of, I just got an offer on a pair of Vans, but sneakers will be marked up at the thrift store. But here's one of the advantages of niching down and really learning your market. And I know all you guys know a lot about a lot of different things. You will learn things that people at the thrift store don't know. So I came across these. This is a pair of and I'll probably mispronounce this, Pelote Sebring driving / racing shoes. These are brown leather, and they sold for I think $71.99 plus shipping. I took an offer, and these were only $3.99 at the thrift store. And actually, what you'll find at thrift stores is when you find an item like this, like I found 2 other pair also at $3.99, like a black one, and I've already sold those as well. So you can find items that the average, because there's a lot of turnover at thrift stores. A lot of these employees, they're not as sharp as we are as I consider as professional resellers, whether we're part-time or full-time, because we put in the time to learn and to know how to research. And yeah, so I was really happy to sell these racing shoes. I think they're Italian, and
Nice.
they sold like within a week. I think I sold all 3 or 2 of the 3 like the first week I had them.
Now,
Nice.
how's your sales been, Brian?
Well, it's hard to tell. Like they were horrible, and well, okay. Let me explain. So I'm in the process of changing over into a shoe seller from a clothing reseller primarily. And I will still pick up things. Like if I'm at a garage sale and if I saw that TV Mike had for $10, I'd probably pick it up and sell it, even though I probably shouldn't. But I'm mostly selling shoes. And so eBay's algorithm, I think when I made that switch from shoes from clothing, I think it really put a wrench into the traffic I was getting. So my sales have been down. What I've done to counter that, because I'm not one that believes in just sitting by passively and complaining on a Facebook group. What I did is I created a tiered sell March 1st. Anything that's 1 month or older, I promote it at the suggested ad rate on eBay, and it goes into a 10% markdown sale for that month. And then I tier it from there. 2 months is at 20%, all the way up to 60%. Like Alton was talking about liquidating older inventory. And I've got a lot of older inventory when I was using a VA that is very poorly listed. And so that stuff is starting to sell just because it's so cheap. So my sales are picking up, but my ASP is dropping. And I'm also spending a lot of time, like this week, I'm spending a lot of time going back, delisting, relisting, changing the titles, double checking the item specifics, and creating new listings that are priced appropriately. And I know we've talked about this, but just one more warning: if you're out there listening to this podcast, do not be tempted with Hammock or Sellhound, or maybe you could get your own VA, but you're gonna have to be able to train them and supervise them. And I didn't do any of those things this time last year because I was just growing. And now I have a 6,000, it's down to 5,900. I have a 5,900 item store, but probably half of it is really poor listings. And so I don't have the sell-through rate I should. So now I'm having to go back to fix that. I know that, I'm sorry, that's a really long-winded explanation.
My sales have gone up a little bit in March, so I'm happy to see that. I've sold a few hats that have been listed for a long time, and those came out of nowhere and sold. I've sold 4 hats in the last 4 days, so that's pretty nice. And then also, yeah, it is hat season coming up, so that's part of it. But my sales were terrible January and February. Just
Or are you still listing the same with your daily listing habit?
I am not. I am. I'm more listing like
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
My listing habit, because I do focus more on Whatnot and listing on there. But it's nice to see the sales coming back. I have been listing a little bit, but it's not consistent for sure. So.
You know, and that's the tool process that I was talking about earlier was like Scott, and I mean, I'm not dumb either. Like if it's $100 hat, like I'm gonna share this one. I'm gonna kind of get this as a reference. I paid $33 for this hat. There's no way this right here, this is 100 to 100.
You want to explain that to the listeners?
So these are Hat Club exclusive from New Era. They're a limited print, they're a limited time make, and they have these big patches on the side, and they come in different sizes, and these are fitted caps. Beautiful pieces of art, honestly. Yeah. And you know, they sell them $50 to $60, but what do you know of in recent time that the minute you buy it, because there's such limited quantity of them, when they sell out, they're done, that the reseller can immediately ask 90 to 120, depending on which hat it is immediately. That's just the way it is. So like this hat was bought for say $59. This one right now is listed on my Whatnot as a buy it now at 110. So I'm not going to put that in the auction because there's no way it means any sense to start that off at a $10 following, at a $10 start.
Well, if you do, let me know. I'm going to go buy it for $10.
You know, yeah, right, and that's not going to happen. You know, like
if I could get into Whatnot and actually bid, which I can. So
yeah, so like the hat I'm wearing is a exclusive, but it's not a Hat Club exclusive. This is another patch hat, and this is a Charlotte Hornets hat, but it's in the mocha brown, and this hat's about $160 hat. And I'm only wearing it I wear it every once in a while. You know, like I don't want to sweat in this hat. Like I got the fan going. I got but some of the better finds that are for sale, you know, and these are actually more eBay items than anything, but I'm giving them a shot coming up. This is actually a vintage 92 or 1993 Charlotte Hornets hat snapback, the original from 92 or 93. I actually know that because this hat was given to me.
Larry Johnson was playing for them, right?
No, I don't think so. No, I think that was like the era of like Muggsy Bogues in the mid 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now the hat that I call the Grail, like again, sometimes you don't realize as a kid, like I didn't realize a passion then would be a very profitable and in knowledge for me now. You know, so this is one of the things where find something that you knew, and maybe it can make you some money, because I've got this hat. I remember my parents bought me this hat for like $20 or $25 when I was a kid. It was an adult size hat, snapback. But I don't know if y'all can see this, but it's Michael Jordan, Rodman, and Pippen. One of the best trios to ever play the game together, regardless of the issues Pippen had with Jordan, right? And
Bird, Ainge,
and this is a sport, and that's something else. If you resellers want to see, you see right there, it says sports specialties. That alone makes the hat value like 4 times more than if it was not sports specialties. So the fact that I got the trio embroidered on a sports specialty snapback, right now it's about $140. And I think I have it at buy it now at like 105 or something in the Whatnot. So this is one of them. I will sell it in the auction as a Grail item, but if not, I'm okay keeping it. You know, because I mean, again, it was something I got as a kid. So when they say start with the things you have, you'd be amazed to see the value of the things you have as an eBay seller starting out. So those are a few of the ones here. And then one of the other things we find is other fitted hats like this. Nice and clean. A New Jersey Nets with the NBA logo. This is a $30, $40 hat all day. This is what I call the bread and butter of the fitted hats. But that's still a nice, clean hat. They don't make this no more. So you can pick them up for a few dollars, usually average $3 to $5 a piece, and they'll turn around and sell anywhere between $20 and $30, $35 on eBay. So that's good little bolo, but you got to kind of know which ones to look for, what teams are harder, which teams do they make less of that year, you know, little things like that. But other than that,
hats are a good niche. I even sold a hat this week. Like I've listed a few. They're like you said, you can find those at garage sales. They don't even have to be the rare ones like you guys are showing. Like I sold a beer cap for like 15, 16 bucks plus shipping. I think I picked up for $1. You can find those all day at garage sales.
Yeah, like this one, I'll put in the auction just to kind of go, but to show it to y'all. This one's actually going up in the auction, so I can show it. It is a Cleveland Indians, but it's the old logo.
Yeah, that's what do they call it? The woohee, or what do you call that?
Yeah.
The large.
Yeah, it's got the big nose.
Wahoo, isn't he?
Wahoo, that's
Wahoo,
it.
that's it. And it's the Cooperstown collection. Now I'm gonna start this off at a $2 bid.
Ooh.
You know, and honestly,
is that one 100% wool?
I want to say this one was the wool blend. Yes, actually, this one is 100% wool. Okay. So these wool blend hats, but again, I've got to bring stuff quality. When I tell you I bring quality to the auction, they could win that hat for $2 if nobody knew what they were looking at.
Dang, I need to get my account fixed so I can.
There you go. Right,
but
nice
you see the process of when you bring quality, eventually you bring the quality buyer behind it.
Yeah,
that understands. Oh, I want that piece. Like I've had pieces where they go, oh, I really want that. What do you want for it? In the buy it now. Like I said, listen, my buy it now. Well, I see you have it listed for 120. Would you take 90? I tell you what, I'll meet you. I'll do $100 for it right now. And you're to the good. And that's not even a part of the auction. It just happens, you know? So it's a good way of having it as a tool, but I think bringing the right items to the platform, both good and bad, can influence your experience, I should say. And maybe that's the better way of doing it. So, but yeah, other than that, guys, I think we are done for tonight. So I guess we'll be back Thursday at 8:00 and we'll be discussing. We had a couple topics lined up. So I think we have like whatnot as one. And then what was the other one?
Building your brand and platform and your platform.
Right. So I think that's right, because we were talking about building it and growing it, maybe from a web page perspective, or
because back to what Brian was saying about repeat buyers and bringing in a couple weeks ago, I think you mentioned that, and so that topic came to my mind.
Awesome. So we'll see which one we're going to toss it up between the two to see which one we want to talk about next week.
Yeah, and I'll throw another one, not for next week. We can do it later as we move into spring. It's garage sale season, so we can maybe do an episode on garage sales.
We definitely should do that when we all know that everyone's going out the previous weekend to hit a yard sale. Mm-hmm. That way we can all say, how was your first yard sale of the season? Like your true yard sale of the season. Kind of like a check-in. See, was it worth it or not?
That is still, I know we're wrapping up, but that's still my favorite way to source. It may not be the most efficient, but it is so much fun because you never know what you're going to find.
But I think we'll cover that. But I think the reason being is because it is the hunt. It's more to it than just the buying and selling. It's that you never know what you're going to find. You know, like I found some crazy things. I mean, I found a solid wood figure that a carpenter made. It's a hand with a middle finger. I had to buy it, you know, like it's in my office over here. So like, just, I don't know what the sculptor was thinking to make the finger like that long. It's crazy. So, but other than that, guys, we will see y'all next Thursday, 8:00, and listen to us on Spotify. So let's see. End broadcast.